What's up, folks? Welcome back. This is going to be part 2 of the subfloor video for the tiny house that we're doing. Last we left off, I broke a bit trying to drill out the holes for the brackets, the sturdy brackets that are in the concrete where the 6x6s go. So I had to go to Home Depot, picked up a new bit, and then came back and I got all that drilled out. So all of that is done. All the holes are completely drilled out now. All of the bolts are all the way through, and everything is locked down. It's nice and tight, very sturdy. So now we're going to pick back up, and the next thing I got to get done is I got to get some cross braces put in. So I'm going to put cross braces between the 6x6s in the middle as well as the back. The front, they're not real tall. They're already basically the height of the sturdy bracket, the wet set bracket that's in there already. So I'm not worried about too much movement there. But I do want to shore it up and make it nice and sound and sturdy for the metal building that we're going to be putting on top of it. So the cross braces are the next step in getting that done, really before I dive into the subfloor itself. I did about one row of the subfloor, or a row and a half of the subfloor, and then the rain really messed me up and stopped me from doing a lot of stuff. So I've got 5 days basically into the project of building, and I have about another 2 days. So it gives me about a week's time to get it done in total days, but it's been about a week since I've been able to do anything with it because the weather just really hasn't cooperated for us. So I had to put the tarp on there to help cover up the subfloor and keep it from getting too wet. It's a waterproof resistant kind of subfloor, but still, just precautionary purposes, I wanted to tarp it just to keep as much water off of it as possible. So I'm going to take the tarp off, and then we're going to dive right into putting the cross braces on. So the first thing with regards to the cross braces, I got 2x6 pressure treated boards. These are 14 feet long, and what I'm going to do, the distance going from the back to the middle is a little bit longer than the distance going across the back. So I got 14 footers. I'm going to put one up, and then I'm going to take and mark it exactly where I need to cut it all off, and then bring it over here, get it cut, and then do the same thing with the next couple. If they're all about the same, then maybe I'll just be able to use the first or the second one as my base, and then I'll just cut all of them the same exact measurements, and then get those put up. Something that's thrown me off slightly is the fact that on the brackets, the outside brackets, I have turned to where their U is up like this. The inside brackets, the U is actually like this. So I have to go higher on my cross bracing underneath because of the U brackets that are turned, because I got to set it slightly above that bracket because I can't drill into the bracket. So I can't necessarily use the very first one as a guide for the rest of them because they're all slightly different. Good morning, folks. It is about 10:30 in the morning. I forgot the camera, left it in the house, and so I've already started early this morning. Came out here and pretty much jumped right on this about 7:30, 8 o'clock this morning. So I got a few hours in the books already. All the cross bracing currently is done. I've got a couple things I'm going to put in for knee braces. But overall, the cross bracing itself is all done, and then the bridges between the cross braces and so on. So I'll show that to you, and then we'll get started on the subfloor. So as you can see, I got the cross braces in, and then I also got bridges in between the cross braces themselves, just to help sturdy those up and keep them from being too flimsy and moving too much. I had to really sort of get don't know, think outside the box a little bit when I was putting up the cross braces and making sure each one of them was sort of opposite. That way I didn't run into another one. So I was able to get that done as well. And I went all the way down with the cross braces. I put everything across the back, and then all the way across the middle, and then all the way down as well. As you can see, I did not put anything on the front just because the front was already really low to the ground, and my biggest concern was the back. I am going to put some bracing up here to tie in the girders to the 6x6s, and I am going to do that up front. I won't do the cross bracing, but I will put some form of I think Simpson sells a tensioner brace, and I will be putting that on those just to make sure it's nice and secure and tight. Something else I did in the center here is I tied in all the way down. I tied in the cross braces to the 6x6 as well as the 2x12 subfloor. So set it slightly up here, screwed into the 6x6, screwed into the 2x12 subfloor, and on the outside I actually put a lag in that would go into this 2x12 here, and I did that all the way down underneath as well. So put all of those in, tied those all the way down. Just to give it extra stability, as well as making sure that everything is tied to 6x6s and 2x12s, and it's not really going anywhere. That way everything's locked together. And you can see exactly where I'm at with the subfloor. So I'm about, we'll call it a third of the way through, roughly. So time to get started. So we have about 1 hour left of daylight. So we have rounded the corner. It's been a long day. Started up at 7:30 this morning, and we'll probably be wrapping up about 6. Won't be quite finished, so I'll end up using about another 5 or 6 hours tomorrow to finish everything up. I'm thinking I'll probably I got to cut a bunch of strips and get the outside done. I'm hoping I should be able to have most of the subfloor itself done. So all the subfloor complete, with the exception of a couple strips of subfloor that I have to put around the outer edge, and then whatever little bit of, you know, buttoning up that I got to get done. So, which really will put me right at about 7 full days of working on it, which is about what I thought it was going to take me, a week. So the one thing I want to make sure that folks realize when they're putting down subfloor is you got to create your tees. And what I mean by that is if you start out with a full piece here, then the next piece that you're going to have is going to be a half a piece. That way you're basically not putting, you know, straight lines and having joints on top of joints. You'll bring 2 pieces in on one piece, and it creates a stronger bond. So you have to make sure that, like I said, you have a full piece, and then you have a half piece and a full piece, and then the next one might be a full piece, and then the next one a half piece. That way it just staggers as you go. Something I'm doing is I'm gluing. You don't have to glue, but it is it's recommended. It will definitely help with the bonding, keeping the wood from shifting as much, taking a lot of the squeaking and the noise away. Most folks recommend gluing, and that will, like I said, it'll just help bond it and keep your floor from making a lot of noise and a lot of shifting. Once you really start using it, you know, the building goes on top of it, and you start walking in it, and you got everything else inside your house. One thing I screwed up on is on the side over here. When I did my 16 on center, I did 16 on center, so I've got a 2-board girder here. Well, I did 16 on center from the second board. I should have done 16 on center from the outside. That way I had everything lined up all the way across. So now, because I did it where I did it, I have to cut strips, and that's what I was talking about I got to do tomorrow. I got to cut small strips to go all the way down to fill in this gap, because the metal building that's going to come and sit on top of this Crawlspace subfloor is actually going to be sitting in this area. It's I think we got 2 by 3 steel posts is what they're using to put it together. So that's going to sit right here. So I have to be able to have something for that to sit on. So I'll do that here, and as well as on the front. So my mistake, I basically measured and set it up from the wrong point, but you live and learn. In the grand scheme of it, it's not quite that big of a deal, because this portion is going to be hidden anyway, because it's the steel tubing framing, if you will, is going to be sitting on top of this. So. All right, as you can see, we are completely done with the subfloor Crawlspace, or foundation, whatever you want to call it. It is ready for a building to be put on top of it. I had left off yesterday where I had a little bit of the strips that I had to cut on the sides, the front and the side. So I've got all of that done here. Everything is completely cut and then glued and screwed down. So that's all done. I also ran over to Home Depot and got a couple more brackets to tie the 6x6s into the girders. I mentioned that earlier in the video, so I got that done as well. So we are good to go. Everything is all set and ready. But I want to say, as you're going through this, if you happen to have any suggestions or you have any questions, feel free to leave comments in the videos, and I will be more than happy to answer those questions, or maybe take some of those suggestions and possibly use those on the project as we're going through it. Obviously, we're going to have a lot more to do, you know, video wise coming up with all the different things that are going to be going on in order to get this finished. So I'm definitely open to hearing what you guys have to say. So please feel free to once again comment on the video, and I would greatly appreciate that. But thank you very much, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.